currently listening to Cleopatra and Frankenstein, so let's go. I'm gonna take a quick shower and I'll be back soon. Freshly showered and changed. Didn't do my makeup yet, so I'm gonna do that now and then like curl my hair a little bit and get back to listening to my book. I'm about like 60% in and I have another 6 hours left of this book, so I'm pretty confident that I can finish it today. But I'm also gonna try to finish another book because this is a day in my life where I'm mostly reading, so we'll be reading. I feel like every summer I do this like 24-hour reading challenge, except this time I'm not gonna say I'll be reading for 24 hours because I woke up late and I'm gonna try to sleep early, so it'll probably be closer to like a 12-hour reading challenge. But I'm gonna set an ambitious goal in that I'm gonna try to finish 2 books, and then I'm also gonna try to start and make like decent progress in another book. But first, let's get ready. We're back. This is insane. Oh my gosh. I'm like 60% through and I'm like, what is happening?
15 years before.
Okay, I have my breakfast, which is a cup of matcha. This is my library cup and my matcha. And then I'm eating like a slice of, I think this is lemon cake. I'm not quite sure. Not a very healthy or nutritious breakfast, but it's fine. It's already 1 p.m. so I'll be eating lunch pretty soon. This is honestly just like a snack in the meantime. Now that I've officially like finished my morning routine, I am ready to read. Today I'll be reading Play It As It Lays by Joan Didion. I'm about 40 pages in and I feel very confident that I can finish this today. It's pretty fast paced. It's really not long, but I want to annotate this book. So I got these sticky tabs from Walmart. Thank you to Walmart for sponsoring this video. Let's relocate for a second. As back to school season is coming soon, Walmart.com is a great place to shop when you're stocking up on all of your school supplies for college and school in general. I recently got some things that I know I'll need during the school year, but also in my day-to-day during the summer as well, including these sticking tabs, which I'll be using today, as well as my favorite highlighters, which are these zebra mild liners. I use them to annotate my books during the school year, and they're like really handy because I can just tab the books, and I really like these sticky tabs. And I love how these highlighters don't bleed, so definitely essential during the school year. My favorite thing about these mild liners is that they're double-sided, and so you have this chiseled tip as well as this pointy tip, and so I can use this side to underline and then this side to like highlight normally. And I'll definitely be using both of these products today to annotate my books and to make my reading experience a little bit more fun. There are so many things that you can get from Walmart.com that are trendy and at a great price. So let's restock on some things that I forgot to purchase in my last haul, but I know I need for the back to school season and in general. Today I will be restocking on my shampoo and conditioner, which is this Olaplex. What's great about getting it on Walmart is that it is on sale for $42.97 right now as I am purchasing it, but normally it's $60. Big fan of Olaplex and all their products, so I'm happy to get a little discount via Walmart. The other thing that I know I'll need during the school year, but also during my life in general, is a little fun drink, and I really like Celsius, and there's a new flavor, so I'm excited to try it out. And I also noticed that Walmart has a little discount. Hiding this checkout section because you don't need to see my address and my credit card information, but ordered and done. Right now, Walmart has a promotion on their Walmart Plus membership, so you can get 50% off for 1 full year. This promotion expires on July 18th, so I would get on it as soon as possible. One of my favorite things about the Walmart Plus membership is that there's free shipping with no order minimum on things like books, supplies, and what I just ordered. My other favorite thing that I feel like not many people know about is that the Walmart Plus membership also comes with the Paramount Plus Essentials plan. I would have gotten the Paramount Plus membership anyway, so I'm really glad that I could have it all with the Walmart Plus membership. But yeah, if you're a college student, Walmart.com is a great place to shop if you're looking to restock and set up your dorm and apartment. Thank you again to Walmart for sponsoring this video, and let's get back to my cake and reading. Okay, now that I have purchased the things that I've wanted to buy, I can start reading. Okay, because we are eating soup, I am gonna go back to listening to my audiobook. Making decent progress on this audiobook. We are at 65% with 4.5 hours left, so let's go. Here's a little interlude where I give a brief summary of the books that I'm reading. So I am 77% into Cleopatra and Frankenstein. It's a very character-driven story that is kind of like mundane and boring because it is, at the end of the day, about everyday life. But it starts off as a romance between Cleo and Frank, and it is like about their relationships as well as the relationships with their friends and family. I would say it's like about like flawed characters, and it feels very human. It is definitely darker than what I usually read and darker than I expected, but I do really like it because I do like books that are very like mundane and about like everyday life. I really like how the story is told and how the characters feel like very fleshed out and alive. Like I can totally imagine them as like real life people. It's also set in New York, which I love because I love New York and I'm currently in California, and I do get homesick for New York, so it is nice to feel like I'm in New York by living vicariously through other characters. I have another 3 hours left, but right now I'm gonna read Play It As It Lays, which before I started this, I had no idea what it's about. I just knew that it's iconic, modern classic that I want to read. Right now, it's pretty interesting because we're kind of just like discovering these different characters. Yeah, it's set in the 1960s. Since I'm in the beginning, I'm kind of just like figuring out who she is. And I really like the writing style, so I'm excited. Also, I love this cover. It's so pretty. Back to reading. I made a decent amount of progress on Play It As It Lays, but I ended up taking a break around an hour and a half ago, and I went back to Cleopatra and Frankenstein mostly because I was helping my parents with some errands, which was mostly tidying, and then I just was listening to this book. There's nothing that really happens in this book, so I'm just along for the ride and I'm here for the vibes. I'm now 89% through. I have an hour and a half left. I'm gonna keep reading, and I have been doing a little bit of admin work on the side too, so multitasking. gosh, Cleopatra and Frankenstein. So here is a mini review of the book. I listened to the audiobook and the main character, Cleo, is British. So the narrator was British. So now I have like a perpetual like British accent in my head, especially after binging the audiobook today. I'm not mad about it, but all my thoughts have a British accent now, which is like interesting. Overall, I would give it a solid 4 out of 5. I'm so thoroughly pleased by how much I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it so much that I think I would buy the physical book. And I think this is a book that I will think about for like years to come. And again, like I'm really surprised because this type of genre or like the topics that it tackles are topics that I typically don't enjoy reading, but for some reason I just really liked it. There's some major icks that are in the book that surprisingly I was okay with, and that is the main relationship, which is the one between like Cleo and Frank, is a 20-year age gap. Personally, I'm like, I don't know how I feel about that. Especially since Cleo she's like 20 and then he's like 40, which, yeah. Anyway, it gives me the ick. So I was surprised that I actually rooted for the characters and rooted for the relationship. I was also so surprised because I was really confused as to where the story was going. It was kind of just like about these people and they fall in love and then they argue and then like things happen to them, like life goes on. It just felt like so mundane and like so like about life where I couldn't really see where the story was going. I was like, okay, how is this gonna end? But when it finally ended, I was like, oh, this feels so good. And now I want to read it again. I feel like I rarely rate things 5 stars now. And whenever I rate something a 3 out of 5, it usually means that I actually enjoyed it, but it just didn't particularly stand out to me. So yeah, I loved it. Okay, so random, but I have so many bug bites and I'm so frustrated. Summer is here. Anyway, during my reading sprint, I made a lot of progress in Play It As It Lays. Our reading sprint for Subtle Asian Book Club is about 45 minutes, and I read 2 pages a minute according to the reading sprint data. So I read a lot. I'm on like a page 142, but if I'm being really real, I don't really know what's going on. Like, I have no idea what's going on. And so after my reading sprint, I looked up the Wikipedia page and I was like, oh, that's what's been going on. I usually like going into things blind. I don't really read synopsises before I read or watch things. I just check the vibes and I'm like, this, just based on the cover and like what I know about this book and like how iconic it is, I'm like, oh, like it matches the vibes, and it's like set in the 60s. It's like very honest about like American life and like depiction and like Hollywood and whatnot. I'm like, yeah, I checked the vibes. But I'm like 150 pages in and this book is like 200 pages and I'm like, I don't really know what's going on. If you start this book and you're like very confused, which I think you're supposed to be a little lost in the beginning. I like it when the author kind of forces you to think, just like throws you into the world without giving you too much exposition because it's kind of like a puzzle. I like that to an extent, and I like the way that it was done in the beginning, but then when I was hitting like page like 80 and onwards, I was like, okay, I am still lost. Like I'm still confused. Anyway, I hope it doesn't like ruin my reading experience, but I did think it was very essential because I was starting to like not really pay attention as much because I was so confused. I was like, who is this? What is going on? It does really feel like a book where it gets better with each reread, and I am enjoying it despite my confusion. In terms of audiobook, I started listening to Book Lovers by Emily Henry.
I may not like him all that much, but a non-insignificant part of me is dying to know what his bottom lip feels like, how that hand on my wrist would touch me.
Oh my gosh.
Just then, it starts to rain.
Okay, back to Play It As It Lays. I finished Play As It Lays. I am so tired now. But now that I finished this, I can give a proper little review. I feel like sometimes it's hard for me to rate things out of a 5-star scale because I feel like they just can't really be rated or ranked in that way. And this is one of those books. But I will say it is super interesting, and it is a book that I would definitely be reading again because I do want to understand it more. I realized that this book is quite dark, and Cleopatra and Frankenstein is also quite dark, so I've just read 2 pretty dark books, and that's not really what I was looking for, but I don't have any regrets because they're both very good books. It kind of reminds me of this movie that I just watched recently called Girl Interrupted. It's also dark, it's also set in the 60s. It's kind of like cynical and existential, like both of them are. I do think it's like very appropriate that I read it because I had just finished watching Girl Interrupted. Now I am ready for something lighthearted, very lighthearted, no thoughts. Thank you for joining me on my reading vlog. I hope you enjoyed. Sending you well wishes, and I hope you're reading some fun things that you love, and if they're not as fun and they're kind of dark, then that's also fine too. Love you. See you next time. Bye.